Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. West, and I am the founder and president of Teach STEM Africa, a nonprofit organization here in the United States that is focused on supporting STEM education in Africa. This past June 2024, we had our very first cohort travel to Ghana to conduct professional development training, and we actually did 3 days of great work. So the first day we had school visits and observations. The second day we conducted professional development training for about 60 educators. And then the following day we partnered with Out International and the Ghana Education Service, and we helped to host or co-sponsor the Outstanding Teacher Summit. And so with me today, I am so excited for you all to meet this wonderful, amazing lady is Lidia Galindo Brito. Did I mess up your name? I probably did. I didn't? Okay.
No, you didn't.
I always feel like I do, so I apologize. But Brito, she is here. She is phenomenal. She is a mental health expert. She is all about wellness and taking care of yourself. And she was one of the members of the cohort who talked to the educators over in Ghana about how you nurture your soul, how as an educator you take care of yourself. And so, Lidia, thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you taking the time to be with me and just kind of reflect on our trip, because we've been back for at least a few weeks, at least 2-3 weeks, going on 3 weeks maybe. And so just wanted to know how are you feeling? Are you missing Ghana like I am?
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure, to get to talk to you, and also get to reflect about our experience, right? Because it was just what I would just summarize as life-changing. And we'll dive a little more as to why, for me personally, and I'm sure that for our cohort, it was just a tremendous opportunity. It was just an incredible experience. Coming back, this past couple of weeks, adjusting to jet lag, trying to get a lot of sleep and get reacclimated with the weather. The first couple of days, it was kind of like, oh, my body was like craving the red, and craving the plantains. I still think I'm never gonna stop craving them for, if I'm being really honest. Just like readapting, right, to the pace of life, to work, to priorities, and always keeping in mind, right, of like the work that we've done, the work that we want to continue doing, and how do we, bring that, right, and not stop the momentum. So it's been, very busy, but again, this has been incredible to just readjust and process even more and just get ignited, right? Instead of the flame dying down, it actually kind of reignites our passion and the vision that we want for the program, for the school, for the teachers, and just for education as a whole.
Yeah, like you, when I got back, I think I slept for just about 2 days because I was just that tired.
Yep.
Jet lag is real. And I think like that second day I got up and went to the store and I was like, nope, going right back home and going right back to bed. And so you said something, you said life-changing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what do you mean by this experience being life-changing for you?
Yeah, so I traveled to Ghana about 10 years ago. And this was when I was still an undergrad. And at that point, I was traveling with a big group of students. We were all very young. I was doing some anthropology research, right? So where Ghana was, where I was as an individual, was in a very different place. And traveling this time to Ghana, I was trying to go with an open mind, thinking like, this experience will be different from the previous one. And then, going into an experience with an open mind and going into an experience, not just with an open mind, but also with a group of strong incredible women, educated, smart, individuals that are passionate for the field that they're working on, really have a vision, really have strong character, right? And are really looking to build each other up, right? I think that that established a very strong foundation of the type of culture, the type of dynamic that we were going to have. So it already created a space where I felt safe, right? A space where I felt comfortable being myself, a space where I felt supported as a professional and also as an individual, right? And when we think about, traveling to different countries, right, there's a different layers of new experiences that come into play, right? There's a culture shock, there's reverse culture shock, right? We have to adapt to, the weather, the food, the amount of attention that we were getting, really trying to be open about like just so many different things that are happening at the same time, right? And, going through that experience, I think that put me in a space where I had to learn, right, to be very intentional, right, about really checking in with myself, but also really accountable for letting other people know how I was doing, right, in the areas where, okay, I am an advocate for mental health, an advocate for wellness and public health and well-being of us as individuals and other people. And I think that this experience really put it to the test, right? It's like, I need to make sure that if I am talking about this, that I also need to be leading by example, right? And I think that this experience allowed me to be able to do that and really look into myself first, right? And understand what was going on as an individual, and then be able to really understand and be opening to the rest of the world, right? And what that meant was the people around me, the communities around me, the teachers around me, right? Ghana as a culture, as a country, all of it, right? So it was just a really great experience for me. I definitely learned a lot about myself, learned about our group, learned a lot about the people that we work with, learn a lot. There's still more to learn about Ghana, the culture, the education system, the healthcare system. It just gave me a little bit of a taste of how much more I want to learn.
And if you all could have been with us on the trip, Lydia, I can't tell you how much I love Lydia. Lydia is she was kind of like my balance when I was feeling stressed, like, oh gosh, oh my gosh, like, okay, we have to get here on time. We have to, like she'd be like, no, just take a breather and, settle down. And I'd be like, yeah. So Lydia just has this calming effect. I wish like I can't describe it, but it is just like I can't tell you how much I appreciated you being there because you just helped me just stay on track and just bring that kind of peace and calm vibe that I needed. And I think that our group needed at times when we were all just like maybe tired and you were still like, come on guys, we're still good, that was important. And so on can you talk a little bit about your experience with Teach STEM Africa and working with our organization? What do you think? What I mean by that is just how would you describe your experience working with Teach STEM Africa from you can go all the way back to the application process to the actual trip or just even on the trip, but just tell us what is your experience like working with our organization?
Mm-hmm. I think that one of the things that I've always appreciated, from the get-go, right, from the initial stages of the process was that you could tell the level of intentionality that is behind the organization, that is behind the application process, that it's behind every single thing that we were doing, right? It wasn't like, oh, we're just going to go in and just, wing it, right? Or we're just going to go in and, it felt very chaotic. Like this experience wasn't like that, and I've traveled to different countries, the past couple of years where I've experienced that, right? And because of that, sometimes, it makes me hesitant, right? Of can I trust this organization? Can I trust traveling with, with this organization, with the people, et cetera. So I think that working with Teach Them Africa really provide a level of safety and comfort, and that peace of mind, because I knew from our first conversation, right, that the way you were trying to approach this trip and the work that we were going to be doing was very intentional, right? It was like really thinking and taking into consideration many different lenses, many different people, right? When we're putting people together, really thinking, okay, is this group of people going to be, are we going to jive together? Are we going to be able to support each other? Are we going to be able to be efficient, right? And also thinking about it, not just in that way, but even thinking about a step further, which is, are individuals also going to be able to adapt, right? Because we're going to a completely different country. We're going, there's different food, different environments, et cetera, right? So even from our interview process, asking those questions really, I could tell, right, that there was a level um, of awareness, right? Of, we want to make sure that this is the best experience for you, right? As it is going to be for all of us, right? Because, and that is really important, right? That is very, very important. So I think that, in the initial stages, I could tell that, right? I was like, I got a good feeling about this. We're going to go ahead and do it. Um, even prior to us traveling, right? All the meetings that we had before were very useful. We're very practical. We talked about, traveling, itinerary, our lesson plans. There was so many information. There were so many checkpoints that I really appreciated, because it also helped me. Okay, I'm also getting to know the people that I'm going on the trip. I'm also being accountable, making sure that we're taking all the different steps into, the steps that we have to take before going to the trip. And I think that once we were in the trip, everything just was reaffirmed. Working with, going to visit the schools, right? Thinking about, okay, we're going to make sure that we are going to a private school, but also we're going to a public school, right? That we get to talk to educators and teachers from different parts of Ghana, right? That, we're creating the spaces where we make connections. We're creating spaces where we can also debrief, creating spaces we can also learn outside of the classroom, right? Because it's not just about going and visiting schools. The experience as a whole was really well crafted. It was really well organized, and I think that it also allowed for the entire experience to flow in a very natural manner, and also in a pace which was very supportive to all the different types of personalities, right? All the different types of supports that different individuals needed, including myself. So I really appreciate it. I think it's honestly one of the best experiences traveling abroad that I've had.
I'm so glad to hear that, because you're right. I want our organization, and our organization is very intentional about being mindful of the people that we work with, but not only just the people that we work with, but the culture that we're going to immerse ourselves in, and being very, very respectful of the culture and the
Mm-hmm.
with, because it's not just something that we go in one day, 2 days, and we work with teachers and we leave. No, we are building a community of educators. And so, when we go back the next year, we'll be connecting with, those educators again. And then throughout the year, just doing little things to connect and support them. And so it's about, again, very intentional. I know from my very first trip, the first time I went to Ghana, I fell in love. And I want for everyone when they travel with TSAM Africa to fall in love with Ghana or any other country that we go to. And so we are very intentional. And the travel company or the tour company that we use, Transatlantic Link, with Dr. Luder and Dr. London, is an exceptional organization, because they not only plan out the trip, but they're very intentional themselves in making sure that we have a good understanding of the experiences. So whether it is going to the W.E.B. Du Bois Memorial, or the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and Memorial, or to when we went to the play at the Ghana National Theater, which is, something that we didn't have on the itinerary, but we all went to. That we walk away understanding the culture, and that we're able to talk about it afterwards, because there are some things that are culturally different that we may not understand, but we want to understand. And so I appreciate you saying that. And so this may be hard, but can you think of your favorite experience? that you had on the trip? Ooh, I know
Uh,
that's probably hard.
I will say that I can think of two, and they were probably the hardest or the most challenging experience, I would say. But I would say that they're the most fruitful experiences that I've
Okay.
had, if I think of it as a whole. Uh, and the first one would be the workshop that I presented on. So, going into the trip, I've always been a very big advocate of public health and, wellness and mental health. And I also understand that these topics are not most of the times are usually people are very open and receptive about them, right? So thinking about that, sometimes that creates a little bit of, like tension within me because I'm always trying to think, okay, how would I approach, how would I want to be approached about a topic that, might be taboo or I might not want to hear about it, right? And thinking about like, okay, even though the vision and the goal for something might be, over there, right? Like way down the line, how do I get just a foot in the door, right? So, thinking about my workshop, I was, a little bit nervous about the topic in itself, how it was going to be well received. Again, I am naturally introverted. So thinking about getting in front of people and, it's a much bigger crowd, which we're really happy about. Much bigger crowd than, I was initially expecting. I was, oh, Lord, I was
Phenomenal job.
very, very
Oh
nervous.
my gosh, it was so great. And it was so well received. So if you would
Yeah.
have told me you were introverts, I would have never known because you got up there, bam, like I was like, who is this up here? Oh my gosh.
You're like, what? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just, really excited, really proud of, for me as an individual, but also just, the educators. Like they were so open. They had questions. They were engaging. They wanted to learn more. Educators, administrator, it was one of those things that I definitely think can build momentum on, right? And build from it because this is important, right? Educators are important. How they're being supported, how they can support themselves. These are really, really important topics if we're talking about sustainability, right? And for me, while it was like a nerve-wracking experience, just going through that and building those connections and just planting those seeds, I think that was just like something I could never I could just never forget. It's just in my heart, in my brain, my soul. It's amazing, just truly, truly amazing. So I would say that was probably, if not, I think it's probably one of the best experiences of the trip. And then the second one would be outside of the professional realm. It was doing the canopy walk
Oh,
because it was and Dr. West was behind me, and I know that she could hear all the crazy nonsense that I was speaking in Spanish. But I was so nervous, and I was like,
honestly, I did it.
and it was nerve-wracking, but it was also, again, you're right about conquering your fears, conquering things that you're afraid of, and just giving it a try, right? I was like, we're just gonna do it. And again, having an incredible group of people that were there to cheer you on, and by that I also mean, our cohort, but also, our tour guides, and also the people that were working at the facility. I mean, it was just very supportive. So I think those two experiences, while they were the hardest, the most challenging ones, I'm really grateful there. I got a lot of reward. So.
That canopy walk. Okay, y'all just don't know. It was not dry and sunny that day. It was wet and rainy that day. And I
Mhm.
brought an umbrella and I forgot my like poncho. Oh, and I think Lydia, you
Yeah,
got yours too. And so we were the
yeah,
two
I
soaking wet. I mean,
we,
I think everybody got soaking wet anyway because it was just rainy.
yes,
But because it's
yes,
been
we
raining.
all did. And it was high up. It was foggy. Like I think when we started walking, we couldn't even see all of the bridges. At least I could only see the first and second one. And then they were like, oh, there are 8 bridges. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yep, there's no turning back. So I was like, oh, well.
He's like, oh man, we didn't. Nobody wanted to go on the chicken bridge, right? So the chicken after the first bridge,
Nope.
you go on the chicken bridge, that means you're chickening
Nope.
out, not going around the rest. And so, but that's I think that was like one of the beautiful things about our cohort, and because we all encouraged each other, and we all said we are going to walk around the entire canopy together. We were there to cheer each other on, support each other, and we all made it through. So, and it just wasn't the canopy walk. It was also walking up like the side of the mountain. That was also wet too.
Yep. Yes.
Slippery. Slippery. So, but it was I can't speak enough about just how phenomenal everything was, and just again the support, the nurturing, and again your presentation. I think one of the reasons why it was so well received is whenever I go over there, and one of the misconceptions is that in America you all have everything and it's perfect, and I go, no, who told you that? And I often tell them that our problems are the same, they may look just a little differently, right? And so I think too, and even in speaking with other educators after like your presentation, I explain to them the whole self-care for teachers and things like that is even kind of a newer phenomena for us, because I've been teaching long enough to know that, listen, you stayed up and you graded papers and you did everything and you brought stuff home and you worked on the weekends. And so that whole notion and idea of taking time out for self to preserve yourself so you can continue on is even something that we are still kind of grappling with and incorporating into our daily lives so we can be better educators. And so you did a phenomenal job, and I can't thank you enough for joining us on this journey. Is my last question to you is, what would you tell someone to convince them, because we're planning for 2025, what would you say to someone who's thinking about applying and hasn't quite made the decision as to whether or not they're going to apply? What would you tell them to encourage them to apply and join us next summer?
Yeah, I think that, I would say apply, please actually do apply. This is just such a wonderful experience. And it's one that you're not going to get, it's not going to come around, like just as easy, right? We're an organization that is really committed to the work that we're doing, that it's really the approach that we're taking is very intentional, right? We're thinking about how do we create something sustainable, right? Something that is going to impact the lives of so many people, right? Something that is going to continue growing, right? And if we think about that, I would definitely want to think and say, like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of something that is much bigger, right? Something that is going to mean so much, not just to me, but with the communities that we're working with, right? And to be open to learning. I think that's one of the biggest things is we're always have to be lifelong learners, right? And to think about an opportunity where you can do that on a personal level, on a professional level, right? And that even reflect, like, what do I want to take from here, right? Like, what does this say about the work that I want to do, right? Whether it's in your specific field, right? Whether it's on a different field, right? Where it's in your community, right? But really thinking about the role that we play as individuals, as humans, as leaders, right? And what does that mean to you, right? So if you're a person that it's even curious, right? Even if you're like maybe not 100% sold on that, even if you're just curious, right? Apply, apply, go, enjoy, experience it, and then you're gonna see it, right? That you're gonna grow incredibly. Like this is a tremendous amount of growth that you're going to experience, right? And I think that it's important, right? It's really important work. So if you're on the fence, if you want to apply, please go ahead and do so. Again, it's one of those things that it's going to be a life-changing experience. So if you want one of those, and I think we all do. Just, take the step. It can be nerve-wracking. It can be, you might have a lot of questions, lots of thoughts, but talk to us. We're happy to talk to you about our experience. Like maybe questions about finances. We can give you tips on how we've been able to do it or how we're planning to do it. Like all of it, right? We're very supportive. And we'll be, we're committed to the work and we're committed to helping you all. So I think that just do it. Just do it. Give it a chance. Give yourself a chance.
Thank you, Lydia. You will always be a member of the Teach STEM Africa family. In my personal family, let me tell you, y'all just don't know. I love me some Lydia. And we didn't know each other.
Connected forever.
Right, connected forever. And we didn't know each other like going into this whole experience either. So it's not like this is my friend from years ago. No. So I thank you because you took a chance to travel with us. You trusted me with working with the educators and going over to Ghana. Ghana is not right next door. It's a whole ocean away. And so you trusted me, you trusted Teach STEM Africa, even Transatlantic Link to carry out this experience for you. And I'm so grateful and so indebted to you that you went with us. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yes.
And then, doing great things. So I thank you for your time. And I thank you for your energy and just being the wonderful, phenomenal person that you are. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. No, thank you for being a wonderful leader, organizer, just, being the pillar and the rock for this entire experience. I don't know I don't think you give yourself enough credit, but for the world to know Dr. West is truly amazing. Just, the vision, the goal, the plan, the execution, the amount of work and dedication that you have for this organization, for the work, for the educators, is astounding, honestly. It's something that I am inspired by, something that I respect a lot. And I think that it's also one of the things that it also makes people, want to continue being connected, continue wanting to work, because you are able to embody something that is not just the right now, but something that is much bigger, and something that is going to be very impactful. So I hope that you know that. I hope that the world will know that. And, you're just incredibly amazing. So I am honored to have you in my life. I'm honored to have, gone through this experience with you. And, now that we're going to be connected forever, we're just going to continue the amazing work. So thank you so much for having me.
And with that being said, I'm going to end the interview so I can go cry to myself. No, I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And you're right. Sometimes I don't give myself enough credit. So I will take that graciously and say thank you. And if you are thinking about traveling with us next summer, please check out our website, www.teachstemafrica.org, for all the latest information. And as Lydia said, take a chance and apply. Thank you for joining us.